Welcome to Time to Win podcast. It's not just a podcast. It's the official personal growth locker room of life where champions just like you gather to cultivate their courage, create a life-changing game plan of success, and celebrate their wins. I'm RJ Jackson, your personal growth coach and host, and I'm committed to seeing you win. As a professional speaker and growth coach for over 3 decades, I've worked with and inspired thousands to grow their greatness and transform their setbacks into a comeback. And now it's your turn. It's time to win. So if you're ready, grab something to take notes with. We're about to dive in. Let's go fight win. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode here on Time to Win podcast. We welcome you to the locker room of life. I am still your girl, RJ Jackson, your personal growth coach and speaker for your next event. Just excited about this opportunity to remind you that you don't have to be weary because winning is on the menu. And I'm here, my friend, to take you from being weary to winning. No more being worn out, emotionally exhausted, alone and afraid, running all over the place, all while yearning for life to be better. Listen, you can be a part of the winner's circle. Let me tell you how to do that. You can join us in the winner's circle at the Cure Circle at thecureforwomen.com. That's thecureforwomen.com, where we believe you belong. So come hang out with us and let us help you get to the finish line. Now this month, we are continuing our conversation in honor of Stress Awareness Month. We really appreciate you joining us today. We're going to explore some strategies for resolving family conflicts and promoting harmony in the home, especially if you have grown children living with you. So as we observe Stress-Free Awareness Month, I'm reminded of the words that my mother used to say when it came to the family. She said, when things aren't right at home, things aren't right anywhere. And let me tell you, there's so much truth to that statement. And perhaps you can testify to it as well. You see, family conflicts can cause excessive stress, like significant anxiety, and this will have a negative impact on our physical and our mental health. So as we learn effective strategies for dealing with family issues and promoting peace in the home, we can reduce our level of stress and improve our overall well-being. And that's what we're going to do today. With this being Stress Awareness Month, and your request for information that causes transformation in our relationships, I thought this would be a really great topic to cover and an opportunity to focus on self-care and stress reduction while improving family relationships. Now, as we address family conflicts and find out how to create more peace in our home environment, we also can improve our relationships with our loved ones and feel more emotionally supported. And I don't know about you, but I believe there's no better time to feel emotionally supported and improve our relationships with our loved ones than right now. There's nothing like peace in our home. We face so much chaos in the world. When we come home, we want peace. Am I right about it? Now, as our children grow older and become adults, the relationships with us as their parents, oh my goodness, it becomes more complex and more challenging. Now, we love our kids and our children love us, but we have got to learn how to navigate the relationship in a healthy and constructive way so we can help strengthen our family bond and promote long-term harmony and well-being. And yes, it's easier said than done, but it is possible. Now, if you're in a current situation, like due to COVID or finances or other reasons where your adult children and perhaps even their children have moved back home, let me encourage you. by letting you know that you are not alone. The higher cost of living, balloon student loan debt, and unstable housing market, well, it has all led to adult children moving back home. According to statistics, 1 in 4 millennials currently live with their parents, with 39% of them unable to afford rent. They even have a name for them. They're called the boomerang generation, and it has become the new norm. Adult children are moving back home, raising more than eyebrows. It's raising several issues for families, including the rent, the rules, space, and privacy. If you, like me, and thousands of parents around the world are dealing with and living with adult children, lean in. I want to provide you with information that's going to cause some transformation in your situation. And if you're like me, we need some transformation to take place. So I'm going to give you some strategies on how to have successful living and harmony in your home while living with your adult children. So lean in, get your paper, and keep your hope alive, because no matter what it looks like, there is hope. Keep it alive, my friend. So let's look at some tips for resolving some relationship problems we're having, because family relationships, although important, can be complicated. You know how they used to have that relationship status on your social media page and it said it's complicated. The same thing applies to our adult children and our families as a whole. It can be complicated, and disagreements are bound to happen from time to time. So it's important to address conflicts that arise and work towards finding a resolution. So how do we do that? Because we know it's important, but how do we do that? I'm so happy that you asked. Let me give you a few tips that will help you navigate your relationship problems with your families. Number one, it's really important to listen to each other and get an understanding of each other's perception. Now, the key is listen and get an understanding. Nowhere in my statement did I say agree with, but I did say listen, and listen to understand. So when we understand people feel heard and seen, and we all have this innate desire to feel heard and seen. Now, our adult children, they have their foundation, which we help lay, but they also have added on some values that perhaps we don't even agree with. They may do things differently than what we do from our experience and from our growth. But finding out why they do what they do is really important. And the best way to find out why is not to say, why did you do that? But tell me about that choice you made. Tell me about your reasoning for doing that. Help me understand you and what you're doing. I really want to understand your perception of doing this. And then be quiet. Cállate. Listen. Escuchen. Yes, listen to what they have to say without judgment. Now, I'm not going to say that's easy. I find it difficult myself. But I also find it rich and rewarding when I do listen. Because it's true. We can actually learn something when we listen. And when we learn, we get an understanding. And when we have an understanding, we can actually relate so much better. So the first thing we want to focus on is listening. We have a habit of talking, and very rarely do we listen. If you want to resolve conflict, learn how to listen. And then the second thing we can consider doing is avoiding blame. You see, blame is a relationship cancer. It just kills. It kills the vibe. It kills the relationship. It kills the desire to want to say anything to anyone else. So we really want to avoid blaming. We want to take responsibility for how we feel, and we want to take responsibility for our actions. Blaming is really detrimental to the relationship. Avoid blaming. It really is a relationship cancer. And then we want to be willing to compromise. Like, if we're going to get along, it can't be my way or the highway. We have to be willing to share the space. And that means compromising. Really, we can't afford to just have it our way because it's not really about us. When we learn to make life about the other person, we get along so much better. But we do live in this what about me society that we don't consider other people's feelings, their needs, and their desires. And if it's not our way, we kind of have a meltdown. Well, if you want to avoid it getting hot in here, as they say, and you want things to work out, it's important that we are willing to compromise. And when you can't do it on your own, last but not least, seek help. Find a mediator. Seek out counseling or therapy to help you and your family develop the bond that's unbreakable, to bring resolve to some of the relationship problems that you might be experiencing. As we live together, we want to learn to take steps for peaceful living, creating a peaceful home environment. And that can be challenging, especially when we're dealing with adult children who have their own opinion, their own ideals, and we have ours from what we think is right. Well, let me give you just a few more tips on how we can foster a peaceful living environment. We can do so by setting boundaries and communicating them clearly. Going back to listening, we want to practice active listening. So with active listening, when someone says something, we actually repeat back what they've said to us to let them know we weren't thinking about what we wanted to say, but we were intentionally listening to them, and we repeat back what they said to show them that we were actively listening. And don't forget how important it is to show appreciation. You know, sometimes we take each other for granted. We forget to say we appreciate you and thank you. I was teaching a parenting class the other day, and this is one of the main points I made to the parents, to appreciate one another. You know, sometimes we get into this negative environment where all we do is like talk about what's not right. Man, that attitude of gratitude will take us a long way. When we appreciate people, people appreciate and value. So remember to appreciate one another. It can start with the simple words, thank you, for the littlest things that make the biggest difference. And as you appreciate one another, encouraging open and honest communication will be a game changer for you. You want peace in your home? Let's talk about what's not working. Let's not allow our differences to cause us to settle with lack of communication and not talking and speaking. Life, it's just too short. Like tomorrow is not even promised. So we want to make sure we're enjoying the journey, that we're knowing how to manage our stress, because stress, it has a significant impact on our relationship and our overall well-being. So take time to practice self-care. Include exercise and relaxation in your everyday environment. Learn to manage your time effectively. And don't forget, take breaks and allow yourself to recharge. This is how we create a more peaceful home environment. And remember, we can't do this thing alone. So if it comes to it, don't let shame be a part of your game. Seek support from your friends and family that you trust, and maybe even consider a therapist. Remember, maintaining healthy relationships takes effort. It's not easy, but it has a great return on your investment, and it's worth it in the end. So as we talk about managing our stress for a stress-free month, we don't want it to be just for a month. We want a stress-free lifestyle. We want to learn how to live together and love the ones we're with. So consider some of the tips that I shared with you today, from open communication, encouraging one another, appreciating one another, setting boundaries, practicing listening and active listening, being willing to compromise, listening to each other's perspective, avoiding blame and name calling, all to create harmony in our home. Which one do you believe you will start with? Because there's no greater time to start than right now. You see, tomorrow's not promised. We've been given this day to make the most of it. And I can't say it enough. It's not easy. I know for a fact I have had my adult children living with me from time to time, and I'm currently in that situation where I have my adult children and their children, their dog, their fish, their plants, their cat. No, they don't have no cat. Living with me. No, it's not easy, but working through it is definitely worth it. If you're in that situation and it's becoming a bit much for you, consider redrawing the boundary lines so that you will have space and peace. Consider having a conversation with the adults in your home. Perhaps you might need to redraw the boundary lines, reestablish some rules, and talk about what's not working. People change. Life changes. Thank you for spending this time with us today, and I trust and pray that something I said would be inspiration that causes transformation in your situation, that you will find one strategy worth implementing in order to resolve any family relationship issues you might be dealing with. Remember, make peace your priority so that you can have harmony in your home. I'd love to know which one you started with, so feel free to leave us a message here at timetowinpodcast.com, or if you're watching or listening on YouTube, you can leave a comment to let us know. In the meantime, in between time, this is Stress-Free Awareness Month, and I want to encourage you to take care of you so you can better take care of other people. I'm not tired, but my time has expired, and I gotta let you go. But just before I do, I really do want you to know that you deserve to have peace and harmony in your home. Make it a priority and take the steps necessary to get you there. See you again next week right here on Time to Win podcast. Next week, we're going to be talking to speakers, coaches, solopreneurs, and entrepreneurs on how to have balance in business and family life. Come check us out. We'll be glad you did. We'll see you soon on the other side of fear, because that, my friend, is where life is happening. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to Time to Win. I recognize that you appreciate the value provided in today's episode, and for your gratitude, I'm giving you a Time to Win VIP listener badge. So head on over to timetowinpodcast.com. That's timetowinpodcast.com and claim your badge and gain immediate VIP access to more of our next level resources and opportunities, including details on the huddle, a table for 10, the Cure Circle, and the Cure Retreat. Because you've enjoyed today's session, you can also express your gratitude by rating, reviewing, and returning next week with a friend. Oh, by the way, be sure to screenshot today's episode and share it in your Instagram and Facebook story or on your favorite social media platform. We'll look forward to seeing you again next week in the locker room of life here on Time to Win. And remember, the best time to win is now.